Welcome back to another episode of the Any Given Day podcast. We got a lot to talk about on today's episode. We're going to be talking about some recruiting news. You're going to be getting a review on Army versus Navy. We're going to be talking about some award controversy, possibly, some transfer portal news, and some previews on some of the bowl games and a reaction to the AP All-Americans. So sit back, relax, and get ready for another exciting episode of the Any Given Day podcast.
Hey,
All right.
everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in to our humble little show of the Any Given Day podcast. I'm Hunter. That's Zach. Welcome in. I guess we should go ahead and start off with the quote-unquote breaking news. Dylan Raiola. So apparently it's starting to come out that there's a possibility that he could flip his commitment from Georgia to Nebraska. For those of you who are not in the know, this is, depending on which recruiting service you look at, this is the number one overall recruit, or at least the number one overall quarterback. Some might have him as the number one overall recruit. I know like 24/7, who Wilt Fong works for, has him as the number 2 overall recruit and the number 1 quarterback. So, that being said, apparently he's been long time committed to Georgia. And all of a sudden now it's popped out today that, hey, there's a possibility NIL money could come into play and he could be flipping his commitment to Nebraska. He does have apparently a visit over to Nebraska this weekend. So we'll go and wait for that to happen before we go and truly let anything happen, or not happen, but like settle in on like our actual thoughts and everything. But that made no sense, but okay. I was going strong there, Bonner, and then I just...
Yeah.
Anyways, what's your thoughts on this entire situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's NIL. This is what NIL has done to college football. It's all, money gets thrown around like crazy. And, I mean, can you blame Nebraska? I mean, they're trying to get a really good quarterback. Granted, they're kind of in on Kyle McCord, and they may be looking to get Kyle McCord, but, that doesn't necessarily change anything. So, obviously, nothing's official yet, and it's not like he's decommitted from Georgia, but Nebraska's very much in it. So, I mean, if you're in a position to be a good college football team, a high school recruit should not be the end-all be-all of your season, whether he commits or decommits. So,
no, not at all.
I think Georgia would be fine without him. I think Georgia would be fine with him. Either way, they're going to be happy. So, I mean, it's not the only quarterback Georgia's got in this class. So,
exactly. Georgia still has...
If they can get him, great. If he chooses to go to Nebraska, good for him. It's neither here nor there.
Yeah, Georgia still has Kirby Smart at the helm. As long as they still have Kirby Smart, they're golden. So there's that. You also have to look into the fact that, that if Raiola goes and commits and flips his commitment to Nebraska, his dad went to Nebraska. His uncle went to Nebraska. His uncle coaches the O-line at Nebraska. There is that, and that's one thing you have to remember. But I don't know. It's just it's kind of weird to me, right? This close to early signing day, especially for someone who's supposed to be an early enrollee, you would think most, if not all, of the paperwork to sign up for college, your classes, all that would be done by this point. But we also know how, especially these big D1 schools are when it comes to especially their football programs, their football athletics. If Nebraska if they're able to flip him, then they're going to do everything in their power to get him enrolled as quick as possible. And they're going to go and have his classes already laid out. Like, hey, what do you want here? What do you want this block to be? they're going to have it figured out, and they're going to go and move hell and high water to make it happen. So there is that. It's like we said, it's not official yet, but there is every possibility it could happen. People do not need to be freaking out over it, though. Georgia fans do not need to be freaking out over it, is what I should say. Because they do have Ryan Puglisi in this class as well. So there is that as well. I do not think for a moment that Kirby Smart will budge on NIL money. That is not his MO. That's never been his MO. So there isn't really much more to talk about on it just yet. We'll have to wait till after this weekend, and we'll go from there. So,
yep,
is what it is. I guess moving on. Next, we'll go ahead and the other breaking news that happened would be Drake May going, and he's gone and decided to forego his final bits of eligibility to go and enter the NFL draft, which I think everyone saw this coming.
yeah.
The only question was if he was going to play in the bowl game or not. He decided he's not going to play in the bowl game. So there it is. This guy is probably going to be the number 2 quarterback taken off the board. Potentially number 1, depending on how scouts view him at the combine. Maybe even number 3 if if those scouts are really high on Jaden Daniels. No telling.
Yeah, I agree.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's kind of a foregone conclusion, I thought. I mean, it was for pretty much all year he's been thought of as the number 2 quarterback in this draft behind Caleb Williams. And as of, last couple of weeks, he's had some talks about possibly being the number 1 quarterback taken off the board, if not, all that. So, I mean, I figured pretty much everybody thought this would happen, and it did, and more power to him. You can't get mad at him. He's going to get paid. No reason to come back if you're basically locked in to be a top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm.
What else can you do?
Not much, apparently.
Moving on.
Yep, moving on.
This is our America's Game review. Army defeated Navy 17-11. That's got to be a scoregami. That's got to be a scoregami or something. 17-11.
By the way.
Yeah, it was close. Closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, well, it always is. It's one of those games where you throw out the record books going into it. It's going to be tight, smash mouth football. Army went and secured them to go and be able to win the Commander-in-Chief trophy, the CIC trophy from here on out. The one thing I noticed, because I was able to watch the beginning of this game, kickoff and everything, Army was not afraid to go and get in the shotgun immediately and start throwing the ball when they needed to, which was kind of shocking. You look at the box score and you see Navy had the most passing yards. Ty Lavatai, I think. He had 179 yards, 16 of 26, which is really rare as it pertains to the Naval Academy or any of the military academies. They are not passing schools. They've never been truly passing schools. Triple option or any takes on the triple option, and they live and breathe that just because that's how they roll. Always has been. So it was kind of weird seeing both teams pass a bit. 40 pass plays in total, which is a lot for these schools. So it's always a beloved game. It's always a great game. I actually found out the day before it that one of my cousins and her husband, who actually served in the Army, they were actually going to be at the game. So
Awesome.
Yeah. I think they were up there. One of them had something they had to do for work, and they were like, well, game's going to be happening that day, and we're going to be free during that time frame, so let's go. So, hey, great. I'm actually really happy for them. That's cool as all get
Yeah.
out, man.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it was a good game. It always is.
Smash Mouth football.
Smash Mouth. And, it lived up to its expectation. It was a really good game. Very surprising that Navy threw the ball 26 times.
Well, they had to. They were down for the majority of it.
Yeah.
So. But at the end of the day, it came down to a goal line stand. The final score, if Army hadn't decided to willingly take the safety, would have been 17-9. So that's an 8-point swing right there. Touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They tie it up. Navy would have tied it up. So Navy was still in this game till the very end. But Army was able to stop them on the goal line stand.
Very low scoring game, like almost every Army-Navy game is.
But the overhit.
I mean, it was really fun football to watch.
Yeah.
So, it definitely gave me something to watch on a Saturday with nothing else to watch. But
yeah, it's always a game that you look forward to.
Very good game. Yeah, I mean, you look forward to it every year. I mean, it's just one of those games you mark off on your calendar.
Bryson Daly, by the way, quarterback for Army. Apparently, from what Gary Daniels and Musburger were saying, apparently he is actually a pretty good passing quarterback. They just don't ask him to in that offense. Which, if you know Army, the head coach for them is Jeff Monken, who, if I remember correctly, is cousins with Todd Monken. I could be wrong.
I believe so.
I think
related.
It's cousin. I do not think it is brothers. I think it's cousins. In which case, either way, he comes from the Monken lineage, and we all saw what Todd Monken was like last year. So, or the past year or two. So, good quarterbacks, or not good quarterbacks, good offensive-minded football. So, you should not be surprised that Jeff Monken has a pretty decent offense with Army. If he needs to, he will bust out 5 wide.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, the awards. Obviously, we'll start off with the biggest award, the Heisman Award. Jaden Daniels was the winner. The finalists were him, Bo Nix, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Michael Penix Jr. I think the right player got it. I think Jaden Daniels won and was most deserving of it. He was the most deserving one to win it, is what I should say. Still kind of trying to figure out how Marvin Harrison Jr. was a finalist. Just doesn't make sense to me. Still, I mean, you got any thoughts on the Heisman?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking just purely based at stats, right, Jaden Daniels was the most deserving of the award. My only complaint after looking closer at the stats, like 25% of Jaden Daniels' touchdowns came against Georgia, Grambling State, and like some other small school. Like he was playing well into the. It was like Georgia State and like Grambling or something like that, and it was like, he was playing well into the third quarter, and if not into the fourth quarter in both those games where they were already up by quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, if LSU had any sort of defense this year, they would have been a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Arguably should have had two offensive players win awards this year. We'll get to that here in a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely will.
But like I said, if you look purely based at stats, Jaden Daniels deserves it. Are his stats inflated a little bit? Yes.
Possibly.
Could you also say like Bo Nix stats were inflated because he did sort of the same thing against some lesser teams? Yes. So, I mean, Michael Penix probably had the best overall season against good opponents, but just purely based on stats, Jaden Daniels deserved it. And he was my pick to win the Heisman before the awards came out. And,
I
mean, he deserved it in the end,
Yes.
so I can't complain too much.
When you look at how the Heisman has been over the past few seasons, it's felt like it's always gone to the quarterback of the best team, right?
Right.
The number one team or one of the top teams, and that's not how it's always been, and that's not how it should be either. It's supposed to go to individually the best player in the sport of college football for that year. Hands down, right? Jaden Daniels was that. He had over 1,200 rushing yards, and he had over 3,000 something passing yards. He almost had 5,000 total yards by himself. And I think they put 2019, the Joe Burrow's 2019 stats against Jaden Daniels stats. And I think Burrow only led him in like 2 stats, passing yards and I think passing touchdowns. But like Jaden Daniels cleared him in everything else. So it like more total yards, everything. It was actually kind of crazy to look at. And yet you have some people on Twitter and just are all over the place saying, well, I don't think he should have won it. You know, his team was 9-3. And his team was 9-3, but he's the reason why they were 9-3 this year instead of, 5-7 or 6-6.
Right.
End of the day, LSU's defense did not come to play. If they had come to play, they'd be my odds-on favorite to win the national title. Because I do not think Alabama beats them if LSU has a defense this year. At all.
I agree.
Moving on. Maxwell Award winner, which you will come to find out there are multiple Players of the Year awards, different foundations, such as the Maxwell Foundation and the Walter Camp Foundation. They both have their own Player of the Year awards. Maxwell Award went to Michael Penix Jr. this year. And actually, a little fun fact: this is only the second time that the Maxwell Award winner has not gone on to win the Heisman in the same year. So that's a little fun fact for you. The only other time was back in 2018 with Tua Tagovailoa. There we go. Finally got it out. Getting tongue twisted today, people. We're great. Any thoughts on Maxwell Award?
I mean, he deserved it. I mean,
yeah,
I would have been fine with either him or Jaden Daniels, so
yeah,
can't be too mad.
Yeah. Walter Camp Player of the Year award went to Jaden Daniels. So there you go. That's either him or Penix, I think. It really there's not much else to say that you can really say for Jaden Daniels during the Heisman Trophy little section we just did. So I think we could move on from Walter Camp.
Yep.
Award. The next award is the Home Depot Award that goes to the Coach of the Year, the FBS Coach of the Year. I need to clarify that because there's the Eddie Robinson Award, which we'll get into later, that goes to FCS Coach of the Year. It went to Kalen DeBoer, head coach over at Washington. Perfectly reasonable. I truly do believe that. Perfectly reasonable pick. Great pick. I agree with it 100%.
No, I do too. Yeah. He took Washington on undefeated season and take them to the playoffs for the second time. So,
yeah.
I mean, can't complain.
No, can't. Next award is the Frank Broyles Award, going to the top assistant coach of the year. You had several different guys in this award category that I could name: Mike Bobo, Phil Clark, Shamar Moore. Not Phil Clark, Phil Parker, who actually won the award. He is the defense coordinator over at Iowa, and Lord have mercy, he earned this award. He's the only reason they have double-digit wins this year, because Lord knows Brian Ferentz can't do his job right.
Yep.
Anything on that?
That man deserves more than an award.
What you thinking? What you thinking he deserves?
The key to the city.
Key to the state.
the state, the country. I mean, he was doing the Lord's work out there at Iowa. He was single-handedly keeping them in games this year because their offense wasn't worth anything. They were anemic, you could say.
Very much anemic.
And
was it them or Alabama's offensive line that kickstarted the whole anemic thing on this show?
Alabama's offensive line.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, I mean, fully deserved. Definitely deserved because, like you said, he single-handedly kept Iowa in games this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, no complaints.
Him and Torrey Taylor, their punter. The next award is the Lombardi Award, which goes to the top lineman. So if I remember correctly, this one isn't just like defensive lineman, offensive lineman. It also goes to, I think, linebackers and tight ends are also eligible for this. But anyways, it went to Leatu Latu from UCLA. He's an edge rusher. He was one of the top edge rushers of this year. I honestly see no problem with this. He's more than likely, not more than likely, he's arguably going to be one of the first edge rushers off the board this year. As long as he goes and tests well. So, thoughts? Reactions?
Nothing to complain about. I don't really have anything to complain about until a certain award.
The thing is, I know which award you're talking about. And if anyone has any common sense, they know what award you're talking about as well. So, yeah. Next award, Davey O'Brien Award, goes to the top quarterback in the nation. Went to Jaden Daniels. Obviously, like I said, like we've said, I don't really think there's anything like any award that Jaden Daniels got. No one's going to argue or complain with, nor should they complain or argue about it. He's very deserving.
Yeah.
Next award, the Remington Award, which goes to the top center in the nation. Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon got this award. You know, maybe it's just a bit of the bias, but I don't know. I think Cedric Van Pran's just a better center than him. That's just my thoughts. That's the only argument I would really have. But honestly, from my understanding, this has been a bit of a toss up between those two for a bit now, and is what it is. Not to take anything away from Jackson, I think he is a heck of a player. Did a really good job protecting Bo Nix this year, so is what it is. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean he was a really good center this year. I mean it's not that he didn't deserve it. He deserves it, but there was about 2 or 3 that could have gotten this. Definitely 2 at least, maybe a third. So it would have been really between him and Cedric Van Pran. So I wouldn't have been upset with either, and I'm not upset with this.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on, the Lou Groza Award going to the top place kicker in the country. Graham Nicholson wins it out of Miami of Ohio. Almost got you, didn't I?
Jeez.
Once again, no problems with it. Lou Groza Award's kind of one of those awards where it's like you can make an argument for several different people depending, because that's just how it is. You'll have a lot of kickers who are in rhythm. I think Alabama fans are not happy with this one because of Will Reichard now being, I think he's like the highest scoring player in collegiate football history now, which is whatever. It's not a career achievement award. It's a season award, so.
Yeah, you see that right there. Listen, you know what really grinds my gears?
Oh God,
is these Alabama fans. All right, you sitting here saying, "Well, how could Will Reichard? He's the highest scoring kicker or player in college football history. How come he didn't win this award, sweetie? It's a freaking seasonal award. It's not a career award. All right.
If he did all that in one season, by God,
Oh yeah, he deserves it.
deserves
Yeah,
it. But you don't get
yeah.
500 something points in one season as a kicker.
No, it's a seasonal award. It's not a career award. So I don't care that he's the highest scoring player in NCAA history. It doesn't matter. He missed like 3 or 4 field goals this year. He was by far not the best place kicker in college football this year. I don't care if he had the freaking career of Jesus Christ himself. He didn't have a good year. Get over yourselves.
Compared to
Moving
what he
on.
normally does. Compared to what he normally does, I
Yeah.
should say that. I question for you actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hypothetical situation where a team wins all their games, goes on to win the national championship. It'll never happen.
Yep.
I know it'll never happen, right? But they're winning all their games by like scoring 30 points a game, right? They're scoring 30 points a game, but all the points are off field goals. That kicker, that's like that place kicker that's scoring all these field goals, 10 field goals a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think regular season's what, 11, 12 games? So that's 360 points in the regular season by himself. Not only does that guy win the Lou Groza Award, but you got to think
he should win the Heisman.
He should. Like, okay, I wasn't going to say it just outright, but I was trying to lead you there. He's got to be in contention for the Heisman. First ever kicker
I mean,
to win a Heisman.
He single-handedly took his team to an undefeated record. If it in this hypothetical happened, he would single-handedly take a team to an undefeated season. He should run away with the Heisman.
Especially if they do it again in the conference championship and they go on to become national championship contenders, right?
Absolutely.
You would have to think.
You would. You would assume, but you know what assuming does.
Yep. I definitely do know.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm glad we had that little conversation. Moving on. The Butt Kiss Award goes to the top linebacker in the nation. Peyton Wilson from NC State won this thing. I agree with this 100%. That dude is a menace at the linebacker position. He is the top linebacker in the country. I know a lot of people are like, well, why didn't Dallas Turner win this award and all that from Alabama? And they have a legit gripe in the sense that a lot of people are listing Dallas Turner as a linebacker, but he's down on the edge so much that he's an edge rusher. You know, he's not a defensive end. He's not a linebacker. He's an outside linebacker who is a specialty edge rusher. And I'm not saying specialty as in, oh, well, you only throw him in on third downs. No, the dude's every down player. And yeah, he can go into coverage if need be, but he's going to be an edge rusher at the NFL level. Like, he's going to be lined up on the edge, and he's going to do everything he can to get in that backfield and cause chaos. But the college awards and all that do not have him listed that way. So I think slight argument could have been made that he could have been up for the Lombardi Award and won it, but he didn't. So Buckus Award went to Peyton Wilson because Dallas Turner is not a true inside linebacker. Thoughts on it?
I mean, I like Peyton Wilson winning this. He was a really, really good linebacker this year, and I agree. I mean, I get not understanding why Dallas Turner didn't win it because he was fantastic all year and he was a menace on that defensive line. But like you said, he was more of an edge rusher. He really wasn't a linebacker per se. He was very much an edge rusher. So, I mean, he just didn't fit with this award. This award's not really for edge rushers. It's that inside linebacker, you know, or a coverage outside linebacker in a 4-3. But, you know, Dallas Turner's very much more of an edge rusher, which would have been more for the Lombardi.
Down in the dirt every play in the NFL. I'd be shocked if he doesn't.
Oh, absolutely.
Moving on, Doak Walker Award, top running back in the nation. Ollie Gordon II from Oklahoma State won this. Once again, no problems with this award on my part. I think he was the top running back in the nation. I think the only argument anyone could have is Cody Schrader being a better running back. Maybe not better running back, but argument could be made that Cody Schrader should have possibly, in a sense, won this. But no one's going to argue with Ollie Gordon win this because he's very much deserving, very much earning of this.
Yeah. He definitely deserved it. He was a really good running back. Obviously, the big news coming out of this is he's no longer with Oklahoma State.
No, he's with Oklahoma State. Those weren't real.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
Yeah, I was like,
I hadn't heard anything else about it. I know they said he was leaving, and I hadn't heard anything else about it.
No, they did a good job. They did a good job. You got to start looking at the ats though. You got to start looking at those. It had me fooled for a minute too, and I was like, this is weird. And then I actually looked at that. I was like,
leave after winning the Doak?
Yeah, no, that would have made. I was like, this makes no sense. No sense at all. But no, he's still there. He is very much still there.
Well, good. Then no, I have no complaints. Nothing else to add. He deserved it. So now this one, I just
I'll let you get this one.
The Bolitnikoff Award obviously goes to the top wide receiver in the nation. The winner was Marvin Harrison Jr. Wrong. All right, wrong. Malik Neighbors should have won this award. For some reason, again, these are seasonal awards, and Malik Neighbors had a much better season than Marvin Harrison Jr., but you know what won him this award? That junior on the end of his name. That's exactly why he won this award. They're talking about career stats trying to win this award for him. He did not have a good Bolitnikoff year, let alone a Heisman year. How he was a Heisman finalist, I have no idea. He didn't even deserve to be in that conversation, and he barely deserved to be in the Bolitnikoff conversation.
Yep.
But because he plays for Ohio freaking State, and he's got that junior behind his name, and his daddy was famous in the NFL, he wins a Bolitnikoff Award because we can't let him leave college without winning something, because that would be a disgrace to college football. Get over yourselves. He's a very good wide receiver. Terrible year to his standards. Terrible year to his standards. Malik Neighbors deserve this award, and I will die on this hill.
Yeah, no, agreed. Malik Neighbors definitely deserves the award more than him. And even with the Heisman thing, you look at stats and you compare Marvin Harrison Jr.'s stats to Devonta Smith's numbers the year he won the Heisman in 2020. No, he didn't have Heisman numbers. There's also questions about Jalen Milroe finishing 6th or J.J. McCarthy finishing in the top 10. It didn't make sense, some of these Heisman votes, but it's how they ended. Did Marvin Harrison Jr. earn the Bolitnikoff Award this year? No. This was a career accomplishment. If he goes for the NFL this year, they're talking like he might be trying to come, like he might be. They're trying to go and get an NIL deal to get him to come back for next year, which I don't see happening. I think he'd be stupid to do that. He's like a top 3 pick in the NFL draft this year. Moving on to the Jim Thorpe Award. The winner for this one was kind of surprising, I'd say. Trey Taylor from Air Force. You don't really think of defensive backs when you think of the military academies. I think that's kind of like just common sense, but this kid earned it in the eyes of the voters for this award. So, hey, props to him. I'm not going to go and stop him or anything like that. It's just kind of surprising, I guess, but props to him. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, personally, and maybe this is a little bit, homerish of me, but I thought Malachi Stark should have won this award. But obviously he had to do good enough for him to win it. Obviously, especially from a military academy, he had to have had a great year. So can't complain too much, and always support the military. So
Heck yeah.
yeah, can't complain too much.
USA,
Oh,
USA.
good lord.
Anyways, moving on to the next award. John Mackey Award goes to the best tight end, the most outstanding tight end. Guess who won it? Brock Bowers. Go figure. He earned this award every bit. He is the best tight end I've ever seen. Probably the most freakish athlete I have ever seen. I think, honestly, I've heard people go and say Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best athlete in all of college football. I disagree. I think that goes to Brock Bowers. Kid from Napa Valley, California. And the hilarious thing about this is he's now the first ever 2-time John Mackey Award winner. Arguments could be made that he should have won it his freshman year, but, is what it is. That happened, and it went to the kid from Colorado State that year. Is what it is. Nothing you can do. You got any?
Yep. No, I agree.
No, just agreements. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Well then, moving on from that to the Outland Trophy, which goes to the best interior lineman, whether that's offense or defense. That was won by Tavondre Sweat over in Texas. You're not going to see any complaint, any argument from me on this. That dude is a wrecking ball. He's been causing chaos all year. All year. He's one of the main reasons they beat Bama. So, hey, props to it. Props to him for winning it.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no problem with that.
Nope, no complaints.
None at all.
Nope.
Okay, moving on. Ray Guy Award, best punter award, basically best punter of the year. You gotta take a wild swing and guess who this one went to.
Troy Taylor.
Tory Taylor.
Tory. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. I apologize.
Yes, the Aussie. The Aussie. Iowa's punter, probably their best overall player. One could argue. I'm messing. I think, honestly, their best overall athlete, best overall player over in Iowa right now would be Cooper DeJean, who is also someone who very easily I would not have blinked had he won the Jim Thorpe Award. But no. Anyways, Ray Guy Award, Tory Taylor, Iowa. You're not going to see an argument from me because him and Iowa's defense, like we said earlier, very much is the reason why they have as many wins as they do this year.
Yep.
Moving on, Bednarik Award, Chuck Bednarik Award, however you want to say it, best defensive player, so best overall defensive player. Peyton Wilson won this thing. Once again, you're not going to see a complaint out of me. It's a toss-up. Depends on what position you value most, or what position the writers value most that year, I guess. So you're not going to see a complaint on me for Payne Wilson winning. You got any complaints, thoughts?
I mean,
memes?
There's an argument that Dallas Turner could have won this, but
yeah,
what can you do?
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Bronco Nagurski Award, like the Maxwell and Walter Camp Awards, you have 2 Best Defensive Player Awards on the defensive side. So you also have the Bronco Nagurski Award, once again, Best Defensive Player. Xavier Watts from Notre Dame won this. Dude's a All-American, so you're not going to see any complaints from this on me. He was one of the top safeties in the country this year. Him, Malachi Starks, is what it is. You're not going to see any complaints from him. Once again, When you go to best overall players, there's only a select few that if they were named those spots, I would kind of have complaints with. Xavier Watts, Payne Wilson, I'm not going to have a problem with either one of them.
I agree. The only complaint is that Dallas Turner probably should have won one of them. But
I think you could
these
make
guys are no slouch either way. I mean,
no, not at all. They're not. You know. Moving on, Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award goes to the best senior quarterback. So there's not that many. There's not as many up to it. Anyway, sorry for the slight pause there. Athletics late to the party. About Dylan Raiola. Anyways, next award. Well, no, we didn't even say it. Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, best senior quarterback. Jaden Daniels won it. You know, once again, no argument here. No argument here at all.
I agree.
Okay. I just keep waiting for you to go in a little bit, but
I mean, I've already said everything I can say about Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, no, he's which to be fair, true. Not much you can say about Jaden Daniels at this point that hasn't already been said. Next award's the Ted Hendricks Award, which goes to the best defensive end, which was won by Leatu Latu. You're not going to see a complaint on this one from me. Like I said, Dallas Turner doesn't really qualify for this. Dallas Turner's like the hybrid position at this point.
Yeah.
Right? He's not a defensive end. He's not a linebacker. He's not a true blue linebacker. He's an edge. And they don't have awards for edges just yet. Like, not classical, like, because a defensive end and an edge rusher they might play at around the same spot. They're two different types of positions, though. You know, it's a different style of play. Next award. What? You got anything to say?
I mean,
sorry.
I don't know who else could have won this award off the top of my head.
Chaz Chambliss? I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
Don't ever mention his name in the conversation about awards ever again, other than being, I don't know, the best player at not being able to hold an edge. But
great pure rusher. Great rusher. But
can't hold an edge to save his life. Poor kid.
Poor kid.
Next award, the Burlsworth Award. Top
I thought you had something
walk-on.
to say. I thought you had something to say. That's why I paused for so long.
No, I didn't have anything else to say other than I don't know who else would win it. So congratulations.
Yeah, Burlsworth Award,
whatever his name is.
Yeah, top walk-on. I think we're both very much going to agree with this one. Cody Schrader, freaking
great year,
earned it. He was lights out this year for them. He's a spark plug, man. He's a spark plug.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Got anything you want to say about Cody Schrader? Or
I mean, he was electric all year long. He had a really good year. Only thing I'd like to say is they should rename this to the Stetson Bennett Award.
Look, I love.
It may be in poor taste. All right, it may be in poor taste. All right, but that's not the point.
I as a lineman, I'm never going to want an award named after another offensive lineman renamed. Just ain't my style. I understand that. Plus, you know, when you actually look at the Brandon Burlsworth story, that is a
really good story.
Really good
really
story.
Sad star.
Yeah.
Really sad story, but
Tragic ending, great story overall, though, I'd say.
you know.
But hard worker, all that, love it. Anyways, speaking of stories and all that, moving on to the Disney Spirit Award. So this one goes to the most inspirational player across the country, and it went to Brian Dooley over at Eastern Michigan. Do you have any idea why it went to him?
Nope.
Okay, let me go and learn you something, kid. Brian Dooley had a full ride scholarship over at Eastern Michigan. One of his teammates did not have a scholarship. That teammate, who they're both offensive linemen, right? So they're both in the same room, same meeting room, day in, day out, all year.
Yeah.
That kid was going and working like multiple part-time jobs, and even giving blood, donating blood to make money so that he could go and afford the tuition for Eastern Michigan so that he could keep playing football. Brian Dooley willingly gave up his scholarship to give to that kid so that he would not have to keep doing that. So he would not have to worry about that. That is what that award is about, right? It's about just the kindness, the goodness of a person, right? Being inspirational is great and all, but I think that is like one of the coolest things, one of the coolest stories I've seen in a while. Willingly giving up your scholarship. How many guys in your life do you know who, if they had a full ride scholarship to play football, even if it was over at a smaller group of 5 school like Eastern Michigan, or heck, even an FCS level, a D2, a D3 school, would willingly give up that scholarship so that one of their teammates who's a walk-on could get a chance? Finally go and eat team meals and all this stuff, and don't have to worry about making the next paycheck, just so that you could go and keep your education going and keep chasing this dream. That's cool as crap. You will never see me knock Brian Dooley at all. That is cool. That is earned. I don't know if there was anything else around that level, but that was very much earned on his part.
No,
that's
absolutely.
Sacrifice right there, and that's brotherhood. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Any thoughts on it besides that?
No, it's just awesome. I mean, like you said, I don't know if there's any other stories similar to that out there, or any other player that had anything similar happen. But I mean, that's the spirit of the award. So I mean, that's
cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Going from that to the William V. Campbell Trophy. This is the academic Heisman. Bo Nix won it. I do have one small thing, right? Bo Nix is a redshirt super senior, so this is his 6th year in college.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably been graduated for a while now. So unless he was doing full courses to go and get his master's, he might have only been taking possibly 1-2 classes, which I think from what I read, he was almost done with his master's and he only had like 1 class this semester. So if he only had like 1 class this semester, I don't know, kind of hacks, man. That's the only thing I'll really say about it, you know?
Right. I mean, I don't know exactly, but it is kind of, cheap to win this award if you're only taking like 1 class and you've already graduated and you're working on a master's. But
so my only thing is, if it is just 1 class, kind of cheap. Now, if he's doing a full course load to finish up his master's, that's different. You know, that's admirable. But if it's just 1 class to finish up your one class this semester to finish up, what your master's. I don't know, kind of cheap to get this award. Is what it is, though. Want to move on to the next trophy?
No, because I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm gonna let you attack that.
Well, no, I was going to pronounce it. I just wanted to know if you. I was just saying that to see if you had any more thoughts or anything.
Oh no, I don't.
But the Werfel Trophy, named after Danny Werfel, goes to basically the best community service outreach or something, right? That all I know is when I looked it up, it was like community service, and I'm like, okay. That went to Lad McConkey, a wide receiver over at Georgia. Old lad, I proud of this kid is what I want to say, but I don't really know him that well, right? I know his older brother a little bit. He probably doesn't even remember me, but we played on like a rec basketball team when we were in 5th grade, right? Yeah, so like I know Lad's older brother through that. Like we were on the same basketball team in 5th grade. That's how me and Hinton knew each other. So I don't remember Lad at all. That was 16 years ago, probably. 16, 17 years ago. So
God, you're old.
Oh yeah, shut up. Shut up. Just wow. Shots fired at me. Anyways, from my understanding, Lad is he's just a good kid. He wants to help out his community. He wants to go and leave it better than he found it, in a sense. So that's always cool to see. You can't really just go and say, and this is kind of the same thing for the Disney Spirit Award. You can't really just go and say, oh, well, this person deserved it more because they did this and this. You're not really going to say this when it's like these awards that help out other people and communities, like, right? Because they're all doing good. And then it's just really up to a board to decide, well, maybe this person should win it. Because they might have helped like one more person or something. And it's like, that's kind of stupid, right? But it's still a cool award to win, you know? You're not going to see anyone really going... You're not going to see me diss it. You're not going to see Bonner diss it. It is what it is. Anyway, moving on to the Horning Award. Goes to... Which, you're welcome for pronouncing that for you, by the way.
Appreciate that.
It goes to the most versatile player in the country. Travis Hunter from Colorado won it. Go figure, right? This dude was playing defense back and wide receiver all year long. Both sides of the ball. You're not going to see a complaint from me about it. You're just not. He earned it. Thoughts?
I mean, yeah, he definitely earned it. He was one of the most impressive players, being able to do that for the majority of the year until he got hurt, to play both ways all game. Impressive. And he was definitely the most versatile. I mean, really good football player. I don't know what the longevity is on that, but how long he can keep playing like this. But
probably by the time he gets to the NFL, I'd say they're going to make him like, hey, we're going to draft you this and only this.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he's not going to have a choice no more. But definitely deserving of the award. He was definitely the most versatile player in college football this year.
Yeah. Moving on to the last award, the Eddie Robinson Award goes to the FCS Coach of the Year. Jimmy Rogers from South Dakota State. South Dakota State's been putting up. They've been, I think, I don't really keep up with FCS that much, right? But I think they've won a national championship in the past year or two. So there's that, which is kind of hard. I would say harder to do in the FCS because they've been in that tournament bracket style already for like so long at this point. Now, granted, you had North Dakota State win it like I think multiple times in a row. but that's just because they were so dominant at that point. It really is what it is with that, but I ain't got much else to say.
No, I mean, I don't really keep up with FCS football, so I don't know a whole lot about him. But had to have had a good year, I guess, to win the award. I don't really have anybody else that I think could have or should have won the award.
Yep. Moving on to the some more transfer portal news. Sorry, trying to find things and getting distracted. Anyways, you've had Raymond Cottrell. He's gone and officially committed to Kentucky. Big pickup for them, by the way. Really big pickup, I'd say. And it's just Kentucky being Kentucky. They might not get all the big names out of high school, but they will win some in the portal. Just because they can develop guys. This is another one of those guys from Texas A&M who's entered the transfer portal and left. Is what it is. Got any thoughts on Cottrell? However you pronounce his last name.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it all year, right? Kentucky, this is what they do. All right, they take guys in out of the transfer portal that maybe haven't been developed fully or were struggling to get playing time somewhere else and turn them into, a really good, like Ray Davis this year, coming from Vanderbilt to come in and have a really good year at Kentucky at running back. And obviously it's just what they do. That's what Stoops does, is take these guys in, develop them, and can turn them into really good NFL players. Obviously you don't go into, they don't really get a lot out of the recruiting, coming out of high school, because Kentucky's not necessarily the flashy place to go. But out of the transfer portal is where they live, and they've done a fantastic job getting talent in and developing it and turning them into something good. So probably a good move for him, and it's a very big move for Kentucky, getting a pretty good wide receiver out of the portal here.
Yeah, former 5-star, if I remember correctly. Pair him up with another former 5-star in Brock Vandegrift, and okay, look at you go, Kentucky, right? And also, apparently, there were, I should say, rumors about Julian Fleming possibly looking into Kentucky. I don't think that might be as true as we thought. Apparently, he might be tied to the hip with McCord. Is what it is. Anyways, moving on to the next transfer. Arkansas transfer linebacker Chris Ball Jr. has officially committed to Ole Miss. Good on Ole Miss. They need as much defensive help as possible. That has always been their weak spot. So, is what it is. Apparently, also, Walter Nolan is apparently looking at Ole Miss pretty heavily. So that might be something right there. If he ends up transferring there, I think he'd be an automatic upgrade for them. So.
Yeah, I mean, if Ole Miss can keep getting some defense to help out with that offense that they have a really good offense, and they're having a lot returning on offense. So, if they can improve that defense, they're going to be dangerous next year.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Ole Miss, did you see where Chop Robinson for Penn State basically said, "Hey, look, I'm forgoing my last game to go ahead and start prepping for the NFL draft"? And Lane Kiffin quote tweeted and was like, "Hey, good luck. You had a great, you had a great collegiate career. You had a great season. Go really, really go and kick it in the NFL and all that." And he's just basically cheering him on, right?
Yeah.
It's just like they're fixing to play each other in a bowl game, and he's just like, "Yeah, I don't have to deal with him." Then he's like, "Congrats, coach, to Martinez getting the job over at Duke. He was the Penn State's defense coordinator, and so he's like, yeah, congrats, coach. You well earned. You deserve this." And it's just like, damn it, Lane. Why are you this way? It's Lane Kiffin to a T, man.
Yep.
Moving on to the last bit of transfer news for right now, at least. Oklahoma quarterback Dylan Gabriel has officially committed to Oregon. There might be a bit more ramifications with that commitment than it first seems, because Ty Thompson, I'm not sure if he has officially entered yet, but he might now be looking to enter the transfer portal away from Oregon, might be looking to go and find a new home to be at and get everything figured out. Because you have to think for him, the thought process was once Bo's gone, I'm the guy. And now all of a sudden he's got a possible competition on his hands, which is what it is. That's how it works. So,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good move for Oregon. I mean, Dylan Gabriel's got a lot of experience, and obviously Bo Nix, didn't he like break a record for like 60 starts in college football or something this
year? That was
year?
never going to be touched.
Well, Dylan Gabriel's got 49. He's got 49 starts.
Okay, never mind.
He very much if he starts every game for Oregon next year, he could break the record.
Or at least tie it.
Assuming he doesn't get hurt.
Christ.
But yeah.
Super seniors, man.
So, yep. So, yeah, I mean, good move for Oregon.
Yeah.
Get an experienced quarterback in there.
Yeah, how much do you think it eats up Auburn fans that Bo Nix was so successful over at Oregon?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck or anything on that. I'm dead serious. Like, do you think it eats at them? Do you think they're like, hey, congrats, good on you? Or do you think they're like, yeah, screw this guy? Like,
from most Auburn fans I've talked to, they're very happy for him and basically just blamed him not having success at Auburn as Auburn being dysfunctional, which they were.
Mm-hmm.
They were a proper disgrace of an SEC team for a couple years there.
Yep.
And now they're finally starting to
almost as bad
get back
as
on track. Oh, God, yeah. But they're finally starting to get back on track. So
yeah, they're going to be.
What I understand, most were very happy for Bo to get out and have a successful career.
I was talking to two Auburn fans, right? And one of them just comes up and he's like, hey, y'all, what did y'all think about Bo Nix winning the Heisman? He was convinced Bo Nix was winning the Heisman. And me and the other Auburn fan who had already been talking were just like, no, Jaden Daniels, right at the same time. We said it right at the same times.
Mm-hmm.
and it took the other one by like, what? Like, we threw him for a loop. Georgia fan and Auburn fan agreeing he was not ready for that.
No.
But anyways, moving on to our bowl preview. Get these knocked out pretty quickly here. Starting off with this upcoming Saturday, December 16th. It's going to be an 11, which is going to be the heavy part for this weekend. It's going to start everything off. And where else to start off? By the bowl where the winning team will go and get a free lifetime supply of tie-dye t-shirts, then the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Between Georgia Southern and Ohio, this is an 11 a.m. kick. Georgia Southern's favored by 3.5, and the over-under is at 48.5. You go ahead and make your selection. I'm up by 3, but I want you to make your selection for this one, just because.
Georgia Southern.
I agree that Statesboro is a lot closer to Myrtle Beach than Ohio is. So,
yeah.
Plus, after that one coworker I had, I am still of the thought process. There's very few good things that come out of Ohio. Very few.
I agree.
You know that former coworker.
I do.
Anyways, Moving on to the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, Jacksonville State versus Louisiana. By the way, real quick before I get into, I already said 11 a.m. kick for Myrtle Beach Bowl, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, this one kicks off at 2:15 in the afternoon. Congrats to Jacksonville State, by the way. They did get to go to a bowl game, them and James Madison both. Props to them. They both very much earned this. I don't think anyone will argue that. Jacksonville State is favored in this one by 3. They'll be playing the Louisiana Cajuns. So the over-under on this is 56.5. I know you're rolling with Jacksonville State, and I am too.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I got the hat on.
Of course you do.
I got the hat on. Jacksonville State's winning this by 50.
Maybe not 50, but I'll
no,
take them.
Not 50, but
I'll take them to win.
Maybe cover on a good day.
Maybe. Moving on to the avocados from Mexico, Cure Bowl.
God almighty.
Look, I had to. Okay, it was there. It was very much there. This one's being played in Orlando, Florida. Miami of Ohio versus App State. This is a 3:30 kick. App State's favored by 5.5. Give me App State. Give me the Fighting Appalachian Mountaineers. I'll take them to win this one, just cause.
Yeah, I feel like you have to take App State to win here. I mean, they're the team that took down James Madison earlier this year, or late in the year, I guess. And you can't ever count out App State. They're one of those. They'll beat anybody, so I'm taking App State.
Big House, Michigan, 2007.
Yep.
Always happens, right? They always bring that up once that date rolls around. Oh, this was the weekend this year to the day that App State beat Michigan. It's like, yeah, that's great, and I get it. And gosh, dang it, y'all, quit bringing it up, please.
All right.
Moving on to the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl, and guess where? Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's New Mexico State versus Fresno State. This is a 5:45 p.m. kick. New Mexico State's favored by 3.5. Give me New Mexico State.
You're taking New Mexico State?
I'm taking New Mexico State. 10-4 on the season.
I feel like you have to. I mean,
yeah,
they've been good all year. So
yeah.
I'm taking New Mexico State. I feel like you have to.
Yep. Starco Brands LA Bowl in SoFi Stadium, i.e. Inglewood, California, i.e. Los Angeles. It's UCLA versus Boise State. UCLA's favored by 2. So yes, technically -2, but 7:30 p.m. kick. You got any thoughts on this one?
You're taking who?
I haven't picked yet because
I thought you said something. I thought you said something. I'm sorry.
I'm relatively still undecided.
I'm undecided too.
Well, let me talk this one through a bit. Let's see. It's in LA. Boise State has to travel there. UCLA doesn't really have to travel at all since it's there. I guess just UCLA home field advantage right there. Yeah, I'll take UCLA.
I don't know. This seems like a really close one. I don't know why it seems so close to me. This seems like it's gonna be really close.
Here's what I'll say real quick, and let me look this up for sure because I haven't really heard anything much else about it. But if Chip Kelly is still coaching, then I very much, as far as I can tell, Chip Kelly is still coaching this team. So if he's still coaching this team, give me Chip Kelly.
But they lost D'Anton Lynn. to USC.
So, got someone
That
there
was
who you've got to have someone there who knows how to run the same defense.
You hope.
Yes, you hope.
And because of that, I'm taking Boise State.
Oh, wow. Against Chip Kelly's play calling?
Yep.
Okay. And yeah, they did keep him, which, hey, smart on their part, actually. You go and beat
They
the
needed
crosstown
to.
rival. You earned it. Anyways, so this is the one we've deferred on so far, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Well, moving on to the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Over in Shreveport, Louisiana, it's going to be California versus Texas Tech. It's 9:15 p.m. kickoff. Give me Texas Tech. They are favored by 3, but definitely give me Texas Tech in this one.
Yeah, I think you gotta take Texas Tech. Just taking into account traveling and stuff like that.
Oh, you'll take into account traveling for this one. You won't take account into traveling for the LA Bowl.
You only use this whenever it fits your narrative.
Fair
and it fits
enough.
my narrative currently.
Fair enough.
So currently, I'm using this narrative to pick Texas Tech to win this football game.
You freaking smart aleck. Yeah. Okay, so we both agree on Texas Tech there.
Yep.
It's supposed to be a bit of a shootout there. 58.5 for the over-under. I
don't think it'll be that much, but we'll see.
Who knows? So, and then finally, moving on to the next bowl game, which will not be a Saturday game. It will be a Monday game. Monday, December 18th, will be the famous Toastery Bowl in Charlotte, North Carolina. Western Kentucky versus Old Dominion. This is a 2:30 p.m. kickoff. It's the only bowl game, as far as I could see, for this day. The line is favoring Old Dominion by 2.5. I'll take. You know what? I'll take the Hilltoppers on this one. I'll take the Hilltoppers.
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh no, he Lee Corso'd me. He Lee Corso'd me, everyone.
Not so fast, my friend. You gotta think about it. Old Dominion almost beat James Madison.
That was a rivalry game.
It was a rivalry game, and they almost beat him. So, with that being said, Western Kentucky's winning this football game.
Changed your mind halfway through, didn't you?
I did. I was
like, he's fixing to change his mind.
I was thinking it, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't know. Old Dominion hadn't impressed me other than that one game, and transitive property didn't work. So I just went with Western Kentucky.
Fair enough. So that's it for the bowl preview. We'll kind of review those a bit. And by review those, it won't be... I don't think it'll be in full detail too much. It really depends on how the week goes, everyone. Because if there's a bunch of like transfer news and recruiting news and all that, and you have to remember, next Wednesday is early signing day as well. So I think Bonner said something about possibly live streaming that day. I don't know.
It depends.
It depends. You might do it. I might be at work.
Yeah.
I might be able to get the first bit of it. Anyways, all that being said, we're gonna just hit on, hey, this team won. This is how they won, from what we could tell. Yada yada yada, so on and so forth. Anyways, moving on to our last segment of the night, AP All-Americans. Now, there's first team, there's second team, there's third team, and just, do you have anything to say about the first team right now at all? Because I think all in all, it was actually a really good group of players that won this award. These are not one, but where they place them.
I mean, the only thing that I could see doing differently would be having Troy Franklin or Keon Coleman in there over Marvin Harrison Jr.
You were so anti Marvin Harrison Jr.
He just doesn't deserve it. I don't understand all the love.
Look,
he's a really great wide receiver, but he did not have a first team
All-American. He still had
1,200
yards.
Yeah, but not everybody else was better than him.
I think the argument they're making, though, and this is the one time I'll actually defend him, I think the argument they're making is that without him, Ohio State might have had another 2 or 3 losses.
Oh, entirely true.
So, kind of, yeah. And so right now I'm looking at the first team stuff, and because we have the first team down in script, I did not have enough time to go and get down the second team and the third team for the All-Americans. I did not have enough time to get that down in the script, but I have pulled it up on my phone. So if you want to go, if you want me to, I can read through it real quick, and you can say whether or not you agree or disagree.
I just run through it real quick.
Okay, so second team offense, quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Any complaints?
Huh?
Second team offense, quarterback Michael Penix Jr. You hear me that time?
Yes, no complaints.
No complaints? Okay. I'm going to name these guys off. You just you say, hey, no complaints, or if you got something you want to say it. Okay?
I got you.
Running backs for the second team offense, Audric Estime from Notre Dame.
No complaints.
Omarion Hampton from North Carolina.
No complaints.
Okay. Offensive tackles. Thank God you're not looking at this name. Taliese Fuaga, Oregon State.
Complaint. I don't know who that is.
Smart Alec.
No complaint.
J.C. Latham, Alabama.
Excuse me?
J.C. Latham, Alabama.
No. I heard you correctly. I'm just
second team. He's not first team.
But still, I can think of about at least 25 offensive linemen better than him.
This is just for the tackle spot.
I can think of about 25 other tackles that are better than him.
I can't, actually. I mean, I think the argument could be made.
He wasn't.
I will always say the argument could be made for Amarius Mims, but with how much time he missed, there was no way he was going to win this. Or not. Why do I keep saying
that's fair, I guess.
There was no way he was going to get placed. If he had been fully healthy all year long, there's not a doubt in my mind he makes one of these 3 teams. But he wasn't. That happens.
That's fair. No complaints.
Okay. Offensive guard. Tate Ratledge, Georgia.
No complaints.
And I want to cut in real quick on this. I'm glad the Mullet Man finally got some recognition. He is a that dude is a guard to his core. He is rough and mean out there. Oh man. Here's one you're going to be happy with. The other guard for the second team offense, Clay Webb, Jacksonville State.
He went to Jacksonville State?
Jacksonville State.
I didn't know he went to Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The double whammy for me there.
Yep. Yeah. The center for the second team offense is Cedric Van Pran, Georgia. You're not going to see arguments from us on this, I don't think.
No, I mean, him and Jackson Powers Johnson were 1A, 1B, so.
Fair enough. Second team tight end, Dalen Holker, Colorado State.
No complaints.
No complaints? Okay. And you're not going to see any complaint from me on Colorado State tight ends. They tend to go and actually use their guys pretty well. Wide receivers, second team wide receivers, Troy Franklin from Oregon, Malik Washington from Virginia, Luther Burden III from Missouri.
Really? No Troy Franklin?
I just said Troy Franklin from Oregon.
Oh.
There's 3 wide receivers in each offensive team. Him, Malik Washington from Virginia, and Luther Burden III from Missouri.
Oh, no, I was thinking Keon Coleman. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I heard Troy Franklin, and Troy Franklin was in my mind. I was surprised Keon Coleman wasn't there. But other than that, I mean...
I just realized we didn't really go through the first team, but I guess we'll touch up on it when we get done with the third team. All-purpose player for the second team offense, Ashton Jeanty, Boise State. You're not going to see any.
Sure.
Probably a heck of a kick returner. Kicker. Second team kicker is Jose Pizano, UNLV. Sure, I guess, right?
Why isn't Will Reichard there?
Buddy, I've got Alabama family members watching this. You need to watch it.
But he's the greatest kicker in the history of kicking. Why isn't Will Reichard there?
Because the group of 5 teams rely on their kickers a lot more than Power 5 teams do. Probably.
That's fair. That's fair.
Second team defense, edge rushers, Jonah Ellis from Utah, Jared Verse from Florida State.
No complaint.
Okay, defensive interior lineman for second team, Byron Murphy II from Texas, Howard Cross III from Notre Dame.
No complaint.
Okay, linebackers, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. from Clemson, Jason Henderson from Old Dominion, Jay Higgins from Iowa.
No complaint.
Okay, cornerbacks, Quinion Mitchell from Toledo and Beanie Bishop Jr. from West Virginia.
Hey, yo. Hey. That dude deserves to be on the first team just because of that name. All right.
Well, Kool-Aid had him beat. Literally, actually, I think.
Yeah.
No complaints?
No complaints.
Okay. Safeties, Tyler Nubin from Minnesota and Caleb Downs from Alabama.
I mean, personally, I would have liked to see Javon Bullard there because that dude was a dog all year.
Okay, who would you replace? Okay, let's hypothetically, if you put him there, who are you replacing him with? And now I have to
Caleb Downs.
See, if anything, I think I would have replaced Tyler Nubin. Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs as a true freshman led Alabama in tackles this year. When's the last time?
That's not hard to do when your defensive line is garbage other than Dallas Turner.
Seriously. When was the last time a true freshman at Alabama led them in tackles?
Well, they don't really start a whole lot of true freshmen, to be completely honest. But he's only starting because they didn't have anybody else to start because they didn't recruit safety until this year.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well.
But, I mean, maybe he deserves it. I don't know.
Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. All I know is the kid as a true freshman, an 18, probably 19 at this point, year-old, comes in and leads the team in tackles his first year. That's pretty impressive. Let's be honest.
I mean, it's not impressive. It's impressive.
Oh, God.
It's impressive.
Okay. Defensive back, Chris Abrams-Drain, Missouri, second team defense. I ain't got no problem with it. Missouri's
no complaint.
No complaints. Great. The punter for second team defense. Take a wild swing. I'll give you a hint. It is an SEC school. Take a wild swing. If you get this wrong, you lose all cred.
I don't know. Brett Thorson?
God bless it.
I don't know.
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt,
I
Matthew
don't even
Hayball.
know.
Punter.
I don't even know who their punter is.
I was just having you guess the school.
Huh?
I was just going to have you guess the school.
Oh,
Yeah.
Vanderbilt.
Yes. It was too late. I've already said it. Okay,
I know.
moving on. Third team offense, quarterback, Bo Nix, Oregon.
Yeah, no complaints.
Okay, running backs for the third team offense, Blake Corum from Michigan and Kimani Vidal from Troy.
No complaints.
Okay, offensive tackles for the third team offense, Javon Foster from Missouri, Troy Fatanu from Washington.
No complaints.
Offensive guards for the third team offense, Christian Haynes from UConn, Luke Condra from Cincinnati.
No complaints.
Okay, the center is going to be Zach Frazier from West Virginia.
No complaints.
Okay, tight end is going to be Ben Sano from Kansas State.
No complaints.
Okay, wide receivers are going to be Ricky White from UNLV, Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU, and Tita Iroa McMillan from Arizona.
Really, no Keon Coleman in any of the top 3 teams.
Nope.
Interesting. That's interesting.
I
Other than that, no complaints. But it's just interesting to me.
the stats, I think.
I don't know, but he was a game changer for Florida State.
All-purpose player Xavier Worthy from Texas.
Definitely no complaints.
Okay. Hey. Guess who the kicker for the third team offense?
Will Reichard?
Yes, from Alabama.
Our Lord and Savior, Will Reichard. All right.
Dear Lord. Okay, third team defense. The edge rushers are going to be Chop Robinson from Penn State and Braylon Trice from Washington.
Well, that's a pair of names right there.
Yeah.
Just based on the names alone, yeah, I'm good. No complaints.
Interior defensive lineman Chris Jenkins from Michigan and Braden Fiske from Florida State.
Did you say Michigan?
Yes, from Michigan.
Disqualified. He shouldn't be anywhere near this list.
How'd I know?
Bunch of cheaters.
Okay. Let me guess.
Next.
You personally would have Nazir Stackhouse there.
No, absolutely not. He was awful.
Okay. Fair enough.
There was nobody on that Georgia defensive line that I would have anywhere near these top 3 AP teams.
Fair enough. Okay. Linebackers for the third team defense. Nathaniel Watson, Mississippi State, Edefuan Ulo-Foshio from Washington, and Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma.
You deserve to be on the first team for pronouncing that name. All right?
I have no fear. Of names.
That was impressive. For your effort, no complaints.
Okay. Cornerbacks. Ricardo Hallman from Wisconsin and TJ Tampa from Iowa State.
Excuse me?
His name is TJ Tampa from Iowa State.
As in the city, Tampa?
As in the city. Well, technically Tampa Bay, but yes, Tampa.
No complaints.
Okay, safeties. Trey Taylor, Air Force, and Dylan Thieneman, Purdue.
Personally, I'd have Javon Bullard in the top 3 teams. But, I mean, what can you do? I'm just an idiot.
I mean, you are an idiot at times. Anyways, defense.
You're telling me you wouldn't have Javon Bullard on at least the third team? He was one of the best safeties alongside Malachi Starks in college football. It's not his fault he plays across from, I don't know, the best safety in college football.
I mean, you're not wrong technically, but still, anyway, I'm trying to be unbiased. I know I'm wearing a Georgia hoodie, but I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. Anyways.
I'm being unbiased. He's a great safety.
He is, yes. Anyways, Defensive back, Sebastian Castro, Iowa.
Anybody on Iowa's defense deserves to be on one of these teams.
Exactly. 13 punter, James Ferguson Reynolds, Boise State.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Going back to the first team offense real quick, because I know we didn't really touch on that real quick. Quarterback, Jaden Daniels, LSU. Not going to see any complaints. Running backs, Ollie Gordon II from Oklahoma State, Cody Schrader from Mizzou.
No complaints.
Okay, tackles for the first team offense, Joe Alt from Notre Dame and Olu Fashanu from Penn State.
No complaints.
Guards, Cooper Beebe from Kansas State and Zach Zinner from Michigan. I know what you're going to say about Zinner. Do keep in mind, though, he is a player who had his leg broken during the game.
No complaints.
Okay.
We don't make fun of injuries.
No, we do not. Center, Jackson Powers Johnson, Oregon.
No complaints.
No complaints. Tight end, Brock Bowers. No complaints, obviously.
I have a complaint.
What you got to complain about Brock Bowers for?
I really don't.
Okay.
I was trying to change it up, but I don't have a complaint.
Anyways, wide receivers, Malik Neighbors, LSU, Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State, Romo Dunze, Washington. I know you've got to complain about Marvin Harrison Jr. You've made that very clear over the past two teams. Argument could be made, yes. It is what it is, so nothing you can do to change.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
it just...
No complaints other than the ones that have already been stated.
Already been lodged.
About he who shall not be named.
Complaints have already been lodged. Like I said, I will actually defend the fact that they're probably doing this based on the fact that Ohio State does not have as good of a record this year without him. Anyways, all-purpose player, Travis Hunter, Colorado.
No complaints.
Okay. Graham Nicholson from Miami of Ohio is the first team kicker. He won the Lou Groza Award.
No complaints.
No complaints there. Lou Groza Award winner. Okay, first team defense. Edge rushers are going to be Layatu Latu from UCLA and Jalen Green from James Madison.
No complaints.
Interior defensive lineman going to be Tavondre Sweat from Texas and Jerzon Newton from Illinois.
No complaints.
Okay. Linebackers are... And I do slightly disagree with this because if you're going to go and call them edge rushers, I don't know why he's not with them, but linebackers, Peyton Wilson from NC State, Edgren Cooper from Texas A&M, and Dallas Turner from Alabama. Like I said, I think Dallas Turner needs to be in the edge rusher group, but that's just me.
I agree, but, I mean, otherwise, no complaints.
Okay, cornerbacks are going to be Cooper DeJean and Kool-Aid McKinstry. DeJean is from Iowa. McKinstry, obviously, is from Alabama.
No complaints.
Okay, safeties. Going to be Malachi Starks from Georgia and Xavier Watts from Notre Dame.
No complaints.
Okay, defensive back is going to be Terrion Arnold from Alabama.
No complaints. That boy's a stud.
Yep. And then the punter, guess what? Guess. First team.
First team?
Yes.
Iowa.
Iowa. Tory Taylor. You are correct. And that wraps up all of the AP All-Americans. Honestly, we've already kind of said what we think is right and wrong on this list. That's our thoughts. Is what it is. Not much we can really do on it. You got anything else, really, before we close out?
I do not.
No?
No complaints.
No complaints? Okay. We'll see everyone next time. Sometime next week, probably might drop on a Thursday.
Wednesday.
No.
It'll be Wednesday night. We'll record it. It'll probably drop Thursday morning.
Ooh. Well, we're going to miss a bowl game then.
I'm only saying Wednesday because we got signing day.
Yeah, but, oh, man. Well, is what it is.
We'll figure it out. It's semantics. We'll figure it out.
We'll miss like 1 or 2 bowl games, I think. So, it is what it is.
What, the toilet bowl? I missed the toilet bowl in the World Hunger Bowl?
I guess. Anyways, we'll see y'all next time.
All right.